Good Monday morning to every one of you. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Matt Alina. I'm the Final Expense Manager here at URL Insurance, and it is monthly Monday time. It's 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, and on the first working Monday of every month, we get together to discuss everything and anything involving final expense life insurance sales. This is an opportunity for new people or people who are kind of kicking the tires, trying to get some more information about our final expense program to come together as well. This is also an opportunity for you to ask any questions, share any stories that you have had in the field if you're doing final expense sales. And we're going to be talking about leads. We're going to be talking about carriers. We're going to also show you some or provide you with some sales tips and things that and other tricks that we have learned throughout the course of the month that I've had conversations with different agencies and agents that are working the final expense marketplace rather hard, and they're doing a great job with that. So we've got a lot of stuff planned for you today, so let's kind of get started and get into what we're going to be doing. As I mentioned, we have a lot of new faces each and every month that are looking to get more information and to join our final expense sales program. So I do want to get into it's going to be a review for some of you. It's going to be brand new for those of you who are new to URL or new to this webinar. So we're going to give you an introduction into our final expense sales here at URL and give you an idea of what our program is all about. We'll also discuss our lead program and how we subsidize our leads. We'll also discuss how you get started. If you like what we're doing here or you want to get involved, I'll give you the three-step process to get started. We also have some news and updates in the industry, as well as we're going to spotlight a carrier each and every month. We pick a final expense carrier and share some of their niches as to what makes them strong, why you might want to consider adding them to your portfolio. We'll also discuss agent bonuses, agent incentives to work with URL. And then at the end of the presentation, we'll answer any questions, comments, concerns that you might have regarding final expense sales and our final expense program here at URL. I will say this as we're getting into this right now, we are seeing a huge demand for life insurance in general, but more specifically with final expense life insurance sales. There's a demand that always usually starts to pick up around August, September, and October. Things start to trail off because we have open enrollment for Medicare, so a lot of those final expense clients are looking at what changes are going to be coming down the road for their Medicare plan. So November starts to get a little slow, and then by mid-December, it starts picking up again for the beginning of the new year. So that's kind of where we're gonna discuss that and how you as a final expense producer will want to get prepared here for the last half of 2020. At the beginning of the year, we rolled out our 2020 final expense sales vision plan, and we were discussing the 2020 vision. And part of our program includes providing you with sales scripts, agent guides, online quoting tools. When you partner with us, you have access to all of that. If you are working in the Medicare field and you're looking to cross-sell to Medicare clients, you're looking to cross-sell final expense to Medicare clients, we do have some proven turnkey marketing programs, different letters, scripts, things like that, that can help you reapproach your Medicare clients to discuss the importance of what final expense life insurance can do and the benefits that it provides. When you partner with URL, we also give you access to exclusive webinars, seminars, and one-on-one training. We're going to be discussing here later on an upcoming training that's going to be taking place here in 2 weeks. It's a webinar. You are not going to want to miss it. We'll also be providing you with consumer materials like the brochures, memorial books, different letters, different things that you can use to keep in contact with your clients to build that stronger relationship. We'll also discuss today and we'll get into the numerous lead resources. So when you partner with URL, We do give you access to different lead vendors that are out there. I will say this, we do not generate the leads internally at URL. We use vendors that specialize in turning around final expense leads, whether it's direct mail pieces, if it's telemarketed leads, live transfer leads, social media leads like Facebook leads. We can provide you tools and resources to numerous lead vendors and lead resources. And based on your production, we subsidize your lead and marketing costs. So we'll get into that here in just a couple of slides. For those of you who have heard about final expense life insurance and you're just not sure what it's all about, final expense life insurance is probably the fastest growing segment of the life insurance industry. It is targeting baby boomers, and there are so many people aging into Medicare, and there are just so many baby boomers out there that don't have enough coverage or they've never had life insurance. So final expense life insurance is a simplified issue life insurance policy, a whole life insurance policy. And what does that mean by simplified issue? It means there are no exams and we don't have to go after medical records. So no exams and no medical records. That does not mean guaranteed issue. The clients will have to answer medical questions, and the insurance companies still look at the MIB, which is the Medical Information Bureau, and prescription drug records to make sure that the client is being truthful. The average face amount, or the average benefit amount for a final expense life insurance plan starts around $5,000 and it caps out around $25,000. Now, there are companies out there that will start at younger ages or younger face amounts, and they'll also go to higher face amounts as well. But this is the general gist of final expense, $5,000 to $25,000. The average face amount ranges anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 on average. But with final expense life insurance, you will find that you're not necessarily selling death benefit as you are selling what they can afford, their monthly budget. The target ages for final expense life insurance ranges from 50 to 80. However, there are companies out there that will start at younger ages, and there are companies out there that will go to higher ages like that as well. Because this is going after an older clientele, the underwriting is very liberal. So people they could have had a heart attack, cancer, or stroke, or they may have some other issues, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Their height and weight may not be the best either. They can still qualify for a permanent whole life coverage, or permanent whole life policy. The nice thing about final expense life insurance is generally these policies are issued in less than a week. There are companies out there that will give you underwriting approvals at the time of appointment. And we'll be discussing one of those companies that will give you an approval at the time of appointment. And because these policies are issued quickly and you can get these policies placed in the same day as well, commissions get paid within 24 to 48 hours of the policy placement. There are some companies that take a couple of days, or they just have different commission days like Tuesdays and Thursdays that they may pay commissions. But most of these policies and most of these commissions are paid rather quickly. Here is a list or a menu of our final expense carriers, and you'll see that we have about almost 20 different final expense carriers that are out there that you can pick. We're not going to dictate the companies that you should sell or the companies that you want to sell. We'll provide you with any guidance that you want. We're not mandated, or we're not forced to promote one company over another. A lot of times I get phone calls from people that'll be asking me for who's going to be the best company for a specific problem, whether it's AFib, atrial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat. I can help with that. There's a bunch of different reasons why you might want to select one company over another. Typically, when you're selecting final expense carriers, you want to have a good core of maybe 2 or 3 companies, one of those companies being a guaranteed issue plan like a Gerber or AIG. Those are typically the companies that are guaranteed issue. When you're selling final expense, you're going there with the idea of selling one company over another. You have your own select you have your own select core company, a company that you're comfortable selling, a company that provides great benefits, provides good pricing, good underwriting, whatever the case may be. But it is ultimately your decision, your call. As I'd mentioned before, when you partner with URL, you get access to our final expense quote engine. We have different quoting tools on our website at urlinsgroup.com/Aries. So on the website, you'll click on departments, go to life markets, and then you'll see a thing or a link for quoting tools. The second link to the top is you'll see on your screen right now. You'll see that there is a quoting tool for final expense. Click on that, and it'll take you to the next page here on the left-hand side of your screen. You'll see that's the final expense quote engine, where you'll put in the state of sale, or the client's date of birth, their gender, tobacco use, and then the amount of coverage, and then you'll select the benefit type, whether it's level benefit meaning coverage starts day one, premiums are locked in for the rest of the client's life. Then there's graded or modified. That's for clients that don't have the best health. And in those situations, that's where you would click a modified or graded benefit. The premiums are locked in for those plans, meaning the premiums are not going to change, but the client may have to live 2 years or longer in order for the beneficiary to receive the full benefit amount. And then there's ultimately guaranteed issue. Guaranteed issue and modified or graded benefits are about the same. Guaranteed issue plans, again, the rates are locked in for the client's entire life. And then the client, there's a 2-year wait before the full benefit is paid out. If death occurs during the first 2 years of the policy ownership, or from the start of the policy, the beneficiary gets all of the premiums paid plus interest. Usually it's 10%. So when you click on Get Quotes Now, it'll take you to the next section, which is on the right-hand side of your screen, and that is where the website is doing the shopping for you. Now, it's going to be determined based on the state and the age and the amounts of coverage. Sometimes there may be a company that you're looking for and you quoted $30,000. Some of these companies are going to drop out, or the companies that are listed here may not be available in your particular state, but it does the shopping for you. Now, one of the things that I do point out to agents that are starting with us is that this is not necessarily a consumer-friendly site. The quote engine is not necessarily consumer-friendly, and the reason I say that is it's going to quote every company that's out there. You're not going to be contracted with every carrier that's out there. This is just a tool to help you get quotes quickly, whether you're quoting over the phone or you're doing this face-to-face. This engine is available. It works. It's mobile phone friendly, smartphone friendly, so you can use this on your mobile phone to get the annual and monthly rates. Again, all rates for final expense are locked in. They're never going to increase, and they're never going as the client gets older. The thing that may be the variable that may change would be whether the client gets a level, graded, or guaranteed issue plan. Now I'd like to get into our lead program details. We have a bunch of different vendors that we work with that are working very well for getting agents in front of interested people or interested parties looking to purchase a final expense plan or a senior life plan. The lead choices include direct mail. Direct mail pieces, depending on the vendor that you use, start around $440 to about $500 for a 1,000-piece mailer. You get to pick the territories that you want to target. These are exclusive leads. So these leads are going back, they're coming to you or being delivered directly to you. They're not being delivered to you and a bunch of other agents in your area. So you're looking at a 1,000-piece mailer for around $440 to $500. These are exclusive leads. Now, if you're looking to have a consistent lead flow, maybe you want 20 leads a month or 40 or 50 leads a month, you can order them per lead. There are companies out there that have a guaranteed response and those range anywhere from $32 to $35 a piece. Again, these are exclusive leads. You have your own defined sales territory. It's usually based on counties or on zip codes or states that you want to work. We have verified teleleads where they are $25 a lead, 10 lead minimum orders. $250 is going to get you 10 people who are interested in talking to you about final expense or senior life insurance. Again, these are exclusive leads as well. You get to pick the territories that you want to target. These are your leads. They're never resold. The only guarantee is that going to get you the leads that you request, but there are other lead vendors out there, so sometimes you may get duplicates or somebody may say, I already talked to somebody else. So those are some of the things with that. These are verified teleleads. The verified telelead company is based in Arizona. The company also, they're US-based calls, so you're not dealing with overseas companies. And the turnaround time for the verified teleleads is usually around 48 hours. Direct mail, by the way, takes about 3 weeks on average before the leads start coming in. We also have basic teleleads. Those teleleads are based on companies outside of the United States, and they're about $10 to $15 a lead. Again, it's a defined sales territory. They do it generally by counties. With any of the teleleads, you want to select about 3 to 4 counties, unless you're in a large metropolitan area like Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, then those leads, you can usually select a city or the county that city resides. Again, these leads are never resold. Another company that came upon us here during the COVID pandemic was live transfer leads. One of our agent partners brought this to me. Live transfer leads cost about $35 to $40 per lead. Again, you get to determine your own targeted demographic. The nice thing about these live transfer leads is that they're transferring that live call to you. These are people that have already said, yes, I want to speak to somebody. So you're not any cold calling. It is a warm handoff. So there isn't this awkward, now I got to pick up the phone and make an appointment or anything like that. They're transferring that lead directly to you, and these are people that you have already determined as your own targeted demographic. And what do I mean by that? You can do it by household income amounts. You can do it by age. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can select. Now, keep in mind, the more restrictive your lead request is or your demographic is, that will determine the cost of your leads as well. We also wanted to discuss advertising on Facebook. A couple months ago, we did an exclusive training on Facebook advertising. We do have vendors out there that you can spend anywhere from $25 to $30 per lead on Facebook. But I did some research earlier in the year to see how you can generate your own advertising on Facebook and how you can generate your own leads and do your own advertising on Facebook without having to pay a third party to do it. We do have that session recorded. We discuss how to create Facebook advertising to generate more leads, which in turn generates more revenue. We show you on our training how to find your target audience, how to do your ad placement, set a marketing budget, advertise optimization, as well as using different advertising images and links. So we have sets with this. We have two sessions with Facebook advertising. We had a general information about Facebook and how you can get started, and then we had the second session was an exclusive training for agents that are contracted and currently doing business with URL on how you can do that advertising yourself and how to really target your advertising and when to place those ads and how to really do all those, get some eye-catching ads out there to really market your agency. So those are the two different sessions that we had on advertising on Facebook. But again, we do have some tools and resources, or I should say we have vendors that already do this for you if you'd rather go that route. Now, as we're talking about the different costs that are associated with leads, let's talk about lead subsidies. Now, we do have a free lead program. With our free lead program, basically you're taking a cut in commission, but we'll provide free leads. But you do have to have a track record of no vectors. You also have to have a track record of some production in final expense. But just to talk about our general lead subsidies, we have our Gemini partners where they get $80 per lead for every $1,000 of placed annualized final expense premium each month. And then for our general partners, our standard partners, you get $50 lead credit for every $1,000 of paid annualized premium, final expense annualized premium. So for standard partners, if you did $2,000 in final expense business, you're going to have a $100 lead credit. Gemini partners will get $160 lead credit to apply towards a lead order. Now, I don't want you to think that we just restrict those lead subsidies to our lead vendors. If there is a lead vendor that you are using or you want to use, we can certainly apply that lead subsidy to that lead vendor. You're not mandated to use one of our lead vendors. URL Insurance Group does not make any money on these leads. Where we make money is when you make money, and that's when you sell a policy. So we both have skin in the game. We want to help you get in front of people to help you sell more policies to, in turn, generate revenue. And when you win, URL wins as well. So if you like what you've heard so far and you're brand new to URL and you're looking to get started in our final expense program, there's 3 steps to getting involved. One is to select your carriers. As I mentioned before, you'll want to have about 2 or 3 final expense carriers in your portfolio. One of those companies should be a guaranteed issue plan for those clients that just can't qualify into one of your core companies. Then the next step is to submit your contracting. We do have a one-size-fits-most contracting form. You can do it either online, or we do have the paper version as well. So select your carriers, submit contracting, and then the third part of that program is to order leads. One thing I failed to mention is that leads are the lifeblood of the final expense marketplace, unless you're looking for referrals where you're looking to do cross-selling. There's some great cross-selling opportunities when it comes to Medicare clients and final expense clients. We're kind of going after the same age demographic. So if you already have a book of Medicare clients and you want to make a supplemental income, or you want to really enhance and strengthen your relationship with your Medicare clients, final expense life insurance is a great way to do that. Now, one of the things that I'll mention here too as well is if you've already submitted your contracting paperwork, you don't have to submit it again. Then you can omit section number 2 or step number 2, and all you need to do is select your carriers. Let me know the carriers that you want to write or to market, and order leads if you want to order leads. So it's very simple. If you need help selecting carriers, I am more than happy to help you do that. If you are brand new to writing final expense life insurance with URL, or brand new to URL altogether, we are providing you a fresh start bonus. We will give you an additional $25 per place final expense application during your first 2 months with us here at URL. And the details to that is that you must be new to URL, or you haven't submitted final expense or life insurance business with URL in the past 2 years. And it's for all business placed within your first 60 days. The minimum annualized premium per final expense case is $500. Now, the average case is generally between $600 and $700. So usually whatever you place, it's going to qualify. So $500 minimum. and you still can qualify for our lead subsidy. So you do get an opportunity to double dip during your first 60 days with us at URL. And that is our Fresh Start bonus. So I want to review July. July was kind of a weird month. Summer vacations, people were still taking those summer vacations. COVID was still in the news. Numbers are starting to increase. But the one thing that I noticed is that sales momentum and the demand is picking up. Consumers are buying. Some of the consumers are buying because, let's face it, like school teachers, they're going back to work whether they want to or not. And people are concerned about COVID. So consumers are buying. Momentum is picking up. Lead vendors are quick turning around leads, and the leads are good leads. The response rates for direct mail has been our leader, if you will, for the last couple of months. The lead direct mail pieces are working out very, very well. Many carriers have made quick adaptations to their application processes. Now, they've made some changes to age limitations, death benefit amounts, and stuff like that, but there are companies out there that are still business as usual. You do have the opportunity to still sell final expense through the paper applications, face-to-face, if your local, state, and local jurisdictions allow it. Pennsylvania, where we're located, you can do face-to-face sales, but if you would rather opt and your client would rather opt to do the sale over the phone, we do have phone and e-applications available. And like I had said before, direct mail leads are turning in the best results. Most of the lead vendors will say you'll get about a 1% response. Some will even say 1.5%. I'm seeing upwards of 2% response right now in direct mail leads. So if you're looking to purchase leads, now is the time to do it. As I had mentioned, July, August, September are the strongest months for leads. So we do have a good 2 months yet. Once October starts to hit, it starts to turn its focus, that marketplace starts to turn its focus towards Medicare, and by November, it is all Medicare, Medicare, Medicare. And then December, middle of December, things start to kind of go back towards the final expense life insurance marketplace again. So be prepared for that. If you're looking to get leads, you might want to double up now for August, September, October time period, and then maybe sit back and not order anything during mid-October to mid-December. That's just what I've seen over the course of the years that I've been doing this. So just some food for thought there. So that was the July review. The other thing during July is I had a final expense agency virtual visit. This final expense agency, that's all they do is final expense. And they're up in the northeast part of Pennsylvania, right on the Pennsylvania-New Jersey border. So they have a great concentration of agents there, and they're doing a fantastic job. And they gave me some insight as to what they do to help their final expense agents get started and their recipe for success. The very first thing that they did is they have their agents write down their goals. And you have to write it down. They said if you keep it in your head, it's a dream, but if you write it down, it is a goal. And they call them SMART goals, and it's an acronym meaning be specific, be measured, have those goals be attainable, be realistic, and set a time frame. And there's no such thing. There is no such thing as a bad goal, and there's no problem having more than one goal. So if you're brand new to the industry, have a specific goal in mind. You want to get licensed in final expense, and you want to have that done by August 15th. And you just want to set all this stuff. So think about your goals, make them specific, measured, attainable, realistic, and have a time frame that you want to achieve the goal. And don't say I want, say I will. That is the SMART goals. That was something that I picked up during my agency virtual visit. They also talked about getting some leads, and they said there is no such thing as a bad lead. A lead is a lead is a lead. There is no such thing as a bad lead. And I am being truthfully honest. When they showed me how they book appointments, they are still booking appointments on 2015 leads. Leads from 2015. There is no such thing as a bad lead. What is bad is your presentation. And they said you must have a polished presentation that you have practiced, and you know all the ins and outs of what you're going to say and the direction that you're going to take that person, whether it's on the phone or face to face. And there's the 3 Ds to their presentation: dial, which is setting that appointment, dial, door knock, and delivery. Don't get discouraged. A lot of us get discouraged. One of the agents that's on there, he has been a consistent producer for URL. He does personal production. He does about $300,000 to $400,000 a year in personal final expense production. And I asked him, what do you do when somebody says no? And how do you persevere? How do you keep going? And he said, I tell myself every day, every phone call, some will, some won't, so what, who's next? So he said again, some will, some won't, so what, who's next? So basically what he was saying was that some people will buy, some people will meet with you, some won't. But he said, who cares? So what? On to the next one. And just because somebody says no to you now does not mean that it just means not yet. It doesn't mean never. So no such thing as a bad lead. Have a polished presentation. I can help you with that. Dial, door knock, delivery, know the 3 Ds. Dial, what are you going to say on the phone? If you're going door knocking, which this agent and this agency, they encourage their agents to do it. Knock on the door. And the delivery, what are you going to say during those opportunities when you're talking to somebody? You only have a short period of time to make that impression. Now I want to talk about our Carrier Spotlight for August, and I want to introduce you to a company that's been fairly new to URL. We've been working with them for about 2 or 3 years now, and it's Royal Neighbors of America. Royal Neighbors of America has been one of our go-to companies, and I'll tell you why. First of all, they're a fraternal company. We'll get into that in a minute. Their issue ages are 50 to 85. Because of COVID, the cutoff is age 80 right now. Face amounts start at $5,000. They go up to $25,000, and they have level and graded plans available. Typically, I would recommend highlighting the level benefits, and their level benefits are attainable for most people. Now, they have a paper application, phone application, and an e-application available. Certain states have restrictions, or it's been restricted because of COVID, one reason or another. So check out the availability, or I can help you if you have questions about that. Royal Neighbors gives you same day, same appointment approval. So if you are face-to-face with a client or you're doing a phone application, you can do a 3-way phone call, and they'll give you the decision right then and there over the phone. All you have to do is submit any paperwork that they request. Their underwriting is extremely competitive. One of the big highlights is that they don't have a height and weight question. So you can have somebody that is significantly overweight. They don't ask that height and weight question. They have a 2-year look back on significant ailments like heart attacks, cancers, strokes. That means that if a client has had a heart attack or heart surgery, maybe stent placement, or they've had bypass, whatever it is, they can still qualify for that as long as it's been 2 years and 1 day. When it comes to strokes, they're looking for full-blown strokes. They are not looking for TIAs or mini strokes. The other thing is neuropathy is accepted as a level benefit. You'll find that in the final expense marketplace. If somebody is diabetic and they have neuropathy, that's usually a knockout, and the client's not going to qualify for a level benefit. They may as well go guaranteed issue. That is not the case with Royal Neighbors. Royal Neighbors will accept the client on a level benefit with neuropathy. So those are some of the strengths with Royal Neighbors in terms of their underwriting. They also provide free member benefits. Royal Neighbors is a fraternal benefit. Some of you on the call today may be familiar with a competitor of theirs, which is Foresters. Foresters and Royal Neighbors are very similar in what they offer. They offer some great member benefits that include, they get a member savings card that gives them access to free and discounted services to wills, preparing wills, and other legal services, prescription drugs, glasses, contacts, vision exams, dental visits, lab scans, and other health screenings, as well as retail savings. And the retailers are national retailers, whether it's travel, like to Disney World or to Universal Studios, or discounts to Sam's Club or Costco, whatever the case may be. They have a lot of great member benefits. So while Royal Neighbors may not be the cheapest company out there, they do provide the client with, and that policyholder with, some great member savings. So definitely something that you might want to consider when you're looking at final expense carriers. Keys to success in the final expense marketplace. And I did this last month, and I wanted to review it again this month because I really liked a lot of these keys. The very first one is learn the power of networking. When you partner with URL, and those of you who are already partners with URL, and you've been to URL events in the past where we get together at different conventions or in different seminars, you see that there's a lot of agents that partner with us. Learn to network with them. You may be an annuity producer, or you may be a Medicare producer looking to get into final expense. So you find out who the leaders are in final expense and pick their brain. Learn the power of networking. Go above and beyond for your clients is number two. When you're getting into the final expense marketplace, as I mentioned before, you do want to order leads, but you want to go above and beyond and set yourself apart. It's amazing in today's society. There are so many people out there looking to make that quick buck that they'll make that sale with that client and they never follow up with them again. So go above and beyond, make yourself stand out, get those referrals. With final expense, there is an investment of time and or money. What I mean by time is you can play for the here and now, or you can put in a lot of the time and effort and or purchase leads, which is spending money. So there is an investment of time and an investment money, one or the other. Number four, look at other brokers as colleagues and not competitors, which basically goes back to number one, which is learning the power of networking. Number five is be patient and play the long game. What I find with agents that are getting involved in the final expense marketplace is they purchase leads, but they don't have a polished presentation, or they don't know what they're going to say to that person when they get that lead back, whether it is direct mail, or if it's a live transfer lead or a tele lead. They don't know what they're going to say, so they pick up the phone and they just mess it up. And understand that learning curve like there is in anything that you do. So be patient. You need to practice and play the long game. The agent that I had mentioned consistently does over $300,000 a year in final expense business. He didn't do that overnight. He's been doing this for 20 years. I think the guesstimate's around 20 years now that he's been doing this. And so it wasn't like this all the time. There are points where when he was starting that he was only doing 100 or 150,000, and that is outstanding. But as you get going, you start to see the see what works, what doesn't work, what to say, when and what not to say, when to say it, when not to say it, those types of things. Be a forward thinker. And go with your gut. So if your gut is saying you should go with purchasing teleleads or doing Facebook leads, give it a try. And keep in mind, we're subsidizing those leads with you anyway. So we're here to back you up. And ask a lot of questions. Ask me a lot of questions. Ask colleagues. Ask people in this business a lot of questions. Ask companies a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions, because when you ask, you'll get some answers, and you're just a little bit more informed. A lot of people are afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask. In the final expense marketplace, one of the things that's really attractive to final expense sales, one is commissions. The commissions are really good. Two is the quick turnaround in getting paid. And three, nice agent incentive trips. So Assurance is sending agents to St. Martin. Foresters is going to Vienna and Prague. KSKJ is going to Curacao. Liberty Bankers is going to Portugal. Mutual of Omaha is going to Hawaii. Occidental Life is going to Argentina. Royal Neighbors is going to the Bahamas. Transamerica is going to Jamaica. And Western Catholic Union is sending agents to Mexico. And you see that the qualifications to go to these trips is attainable, especially if you're doing this and you're working hard. You get to play hard too. So those are some of the agent incentive trips that are going on right now with our final expense partner carriers. So if you want any details to any of that, or if this is something that kind of drives you, here are some of the benchmarks in order for you to qualify for some of these trips. Now, looking ahead, I want to invite each and every one of you that's on this call today to join me 2 weeks from today for our coffee chat, and it is going to be a day in the life of top final expense producers. We're going to be talking to two producers. One of them is who I was referring to, where they consistently do over $300,000 in final expense business, but they also manage and train and recruit for their own agency. That's the agency that I did a virtual visit with in July. So we're going to be doing a coffee chat. The other person is an independent producer in Pennsylvania, and she has been doing such a fantastic, consistent job, a great partner of ours. So I want to invite you to find out what they do when it comes to how do they start their day, to how do they make their phone calls, what do they say, how do they say it. These are people that will go door knocking, and yes, even the lady final expense producers, they will go door to door. They'll door knock. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that. I invite you to join us for our coffee chat, and that is Monday, August 17th, 2 weeks from today, and I will start at 10 o'clock. You can register through our website. So I hope you can join us for that. September 2020 is Life Insurance Awareness Month. That's where we focus a lot of our attention on the importance of life insurance and what it can do for your clients and their families. And the other thing that we'll be doing is this is going to be our final expense monthly Monday. We're changing the format. We're not getting rid of it. We're changing it because we're changing the webinar platform that we're using. Right now, we've been doing this particular training for over 3 years, almost 4 years now. And so we are making a transition to a new webinar format, which while we're making those changes, we figured, you know what, we're going to make some changes to the format to our monthly Mondays. So now we're going to be changing it to the final expense Monday morning motivator. So again, it'll be the first working Monday of the month. So join us for on Monday, September 14th. That will be our new format for our monthly Monday, being changed to our Monday morning motivator. So that'll be more motivational. It'll still be informative with the different carriers and stuff like that. But we're going to get you guys involved in it and start promoting and highlighting some of our top producers and what they did for the month, and some of the successes that they had. There's a great momentum going on right now in the senior life insurance marketplace. Get involved with it. Now is a great time to do it, as starting to open up. I know COVID there's some hot spots out there and stuff, and it's still in the forefront of the news and everything else. But insurance helps protect families, whether it's COVID or not, and there's some great opportunities there. So I highly encourage you to get involved with that. And this is where we're going to open up our any questions that you may have regarding final expense sales. If you're doing final expense right now, what are some of your challenges? What are some of your successes? If you're ordering leads, whether it's through one of our lead partners or a lead vendor that you're using, how are they working out for you? And if you're on the fence about working with URL for final expense, what can I do to help you give it a try? Like I mentioned before, now is a great time to get involved in the final expense marketplace. And for those of you that have any questions, you can type those questions now and I will read those aloud. And I also have my contact information on the screen for you. You can reach me. My direct line is 717-216-8041. That's 717-216-8041. Toll free is 800-926-8875, direct extension 141. And my email address is matta@urlinsgroup.com. This kind of wraps up my portion of the presentation today. I appreciate everybody's time today and learning more about what we do. I had a lot of information, a lot of content that we covered today, so I know you probably are going to be digesting some of that. I highly encourage you to give me a call if you have any questions, comments, concerns. We look forward to working with you and hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care, everybody.